I just won my first national sprint car championship.
Abreu wins the Outlaw Racing Championship.
This is by far my most successful year racing. But all of these highs don't come without some lows along the journey.
My ass on the line.
You gotta get going.
It's been a big job to get to this point, but I want to sit here and take you inside of what it takes to get the job done.
Rico Abreu.
To end 2024, I went to Australia to race in Perth over Boxing Day, and then I was planned to race the high limit races that were the inaugural high limit international race. On Christmas Eve, I was at a gathering and got hit by a firework and broke my ulna and wasn't able to compete in any of the races in Australia. So while I traveled home, I really was emotional. It scared me. Like, it was the first time I really, in a long time, gotten broken a bone and gotten hurt, and I was truly uncertain if I was even going to be able to I didn't know if I needed surgery, or there was a point there where I was just scared. I was frustrated that I felt like I let my team down in Australia that was working on my car, so obviously I wasn't able to compete, and really channeled that frustration into deep thoughts of where I needed to regroup my life and my outlook on how can I commit my whole self to trying to become a champion of the sport. And it was it was a big turning point just in my career, for sure. 4 years ago, I convinced Ricky Warner to come work on my sprint car, and I knew that he was going to really elevate my team just because of his knowledge and commitment to sprint car racing. He is by far, I feel, the smartest person in sprint car racing. And what really attached myself to him was 10 years ago. I went to when I first started racing with the Kadings, they took me to the World of Outlaw race in Las Vegas, and we went to dinner with Ron Shaver and Ricky Warner. And Ricky was just so funny at dinner, and I always knew he was going through his runs with Don. I always knew who Ricky Warner was, and that he worked for Tony, and he was Donnie Schatz's crew chief, and it was the best combination. And anyways, that really stood out to me. Ricky was really funny at dinner. He really made me feel he appreciated me as a just racing, that I'm here racing this little person. I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't know even if I could race cars at that point. And Ricky really acknowledged me at that dinner, and I never forgot about that. He probably won't even remember that moment, but 12 years later, I convinced Rick to come work for me, and there in 2018, his son Drew worked for me, and I really have had an attachment over the last decade to his family, and they've treated me really well, no matter if they were working for Rico Abreu Racing or not. They made me feel like family, and I think that's something that I just never forgot about. And I just have this incredible connection with Ricky, and we just really believe in each other. And he's really helped me elevate Rico Abreu Racing into a championship material race team, and I'll just forever have a place for him here. The big things for me is that he's taught me through all of this is you're only racing the individual ahead of you in points. So back last year when we were, we had a couple shit runs the first half of the year, and he just really allowed me to focus in on okay, we're racing Brent Marks tonight. I was 8th and and 7th. We were 8th and 7th in points. This was early in the season, so we're just focusing on finishing ahead of Brent Marks tonight. And then we got to Courtney, and it was 4th, or he was leading the points, or I don't remember, but it was okay, now we're just racing the 7BC tonight. these next few weeks here until we jump them in points. And no matter if we lost points or not, we're just still focusing on finishing in front of this individual this weekend. And those were good goals for us to work towards, and more so like narrowing down the days and not like the long-term vision of it, and knowing like we got to finish these races. And that's what's changed for us, is I've really focused on like finishing races, no matter if we're a 15th place car or a podium finishing car. It's like, just finish the race tonight, and know like when you put yourself in bad positions out on the racetrack, it snowballs into like weekends and weeks, and the week long, like the guys in the parking lot repairing the car or having to drive back to the race shop. And so Ricky's really taught me that, and that's something that like I feel like through my whole career, I've never really focused on like learning that ability as a race car driver that like is going to take you to the next level. And it's been incredible to navigate for me.
I got to thank Rico. 4 years ago, he called me, to ask me if I'd go work for him. And he kind of changed my life. He gave me a purpose to win races again. His driving has impressed me the last 2 years. How far he's came, his racecraft during the race, letting it play out. And it's a really hard thing to get somebody to figure out. So, this is hard. He truly was sent by God to me to save my career. And I just like being a part of, being able to be a part of him, winning, or his dream of winning a championship, and I'm glad I could be a big part of that for him.
Zach's an incredible person, and I'm very thankful he's continued to work through this journey with me here, and to ride this wave of ups and downs that racing brings. And he's been an incredible support system to me. He works his ass off, and it's really gratifying to me to see someone work so hard and be rewarded with a championship, and know that like that person's effort was a part of this success. And that's why I put so much, I thank my team so much every time we have good runs. Even when we don't have good runs, they work through the adversity. And I think it's so important for all you fans to know like that their commitment is the most important thing for me, and it's important for me to showcase that to you guys, and to tell you guys like it's not about, this whole thing isn't about me, it's about them, and my team and my partners and my family, and like their hard work into allowing me to follow my dreams, ride out my dreams, and to work towards being a champion of the sport. Like that's why I thank them every time I'm on the stage and get the opportunity to, because their hard work is the reason why I'm here talking to you guys. Brady Forbrook is an incredible balance for my team, because his energy really has made me fight through the adversity that racing brings you, through the lows of our ill-performing races, and just through tension that racing can bring in the team. I think Brady's really made me feel confident in myself through those times, knowing that like, okay, we got to fix the car. It's not my driving, or he'll be on me about my driving, but in a positive way. I'm always hard on myself, and I never blame the race car or individuals working on my race car team, because I don't want them to ever be in my position of like, it's such a confidence-driven sport, and you need that confidence in each other and that belief in each other to keep raising the bar, to push yourself, because of the amount of work that needs to be put into competing and making sure the car is performing all the time. Every time the car hits the racetrack, it has to perform. And that's our mentality of like, just work your ass off and solve the problems, nightly on that performing night. And then And when that night's over, you're on to the next day. And these guys have, Brady's really helped me move on quickly and not dwell on the poor performances. When I came into the sport in 2011, I wanted somebody, like, obviously you come attached to somebody out there racing, and Brad was, just starting his, full-time commitment with the World of Outlaws, and I was, racing with the Kadings and then Paul Silva, and traveling the country and racing with Keith Coons, and then starting kind of my stock car stuff, going to Charlotte, back and forth to Charlotte, and spending a lot of time around Kyle, and obviously Kyle and Caitlin, and Caitlin's the sister of Brad Sweet. So for me, coming into the sport later in like Steve Kinzer's career, and Sammy and Delansky and all these really, really good race car drivers, that era, that I didn't really get to watch them race like in their primes or a whole lot. And I became very inspired by Brad and how much work he puts into his craft of racing. And I knew like that, I feel like him and I have similar visions on like just like hard work, people being rewarded by hard work, and not like naturally, we're not like naturally talented race car drivers, and like we have to really work on our craft. I'm gonna tell you a story of like when I went to Charlotte to the World Finals, and I really became, when I was younger, obsessed with like Casey Kane Racing and how they ran their operation. Everything was perfect, and like their race cars looked cool, and I knew Brad Sweet raced for them, at that time, and Joey Saldana, and I stayed, Brad had an apartment in Birkdale in Charlotte, and he let me stay at his apartment. And he was kind of doing some NASCAR stuff, so he was in and out, and he didn't race the World Finals that year, but I went to the World Finals, and like my shoes were falling apart, or it was really cold at the World Finals that year, and like he was like, oh, just take my shoe, like wear my shoes. We had the same shoe size, and I thought I was so badass walking through the pits at the World Finals, and I was like wearing Brad Sweet's shoes, and like he just always made me feel really appreciated, and he just never pushed me away, and like he genuinely like wanted to see me do good as a race car driver, and he would always like be very uplifting to me. So I became very attached to him, and he made me push myself in the sport because I seen a lot of similarities, and like I wanted to be like him with just like having to work really hard for something. And I know this is getting really deep, but I think it's really, he's had an amazing career, and I hope I can follow his footsteps into being a champion of like not the wild race car driver, but more of like a champion of the sport of like winning the race fans, winning the races, and winning championships, and doing it with all of you guys, everybody like a part of it. Like I want everybody to feel a part of this. At the banquet, Danny Sams's mother came up to me and showed me some pictures from of Danny Sams and I from my 2014 National Midget Championship banquet, and it really made me realize like that everybody is watching, like even these young kids that are coming up through the ranks of quarter midget racing, and it was really cool to like see that and know that like this Danny Sams is like following his dreams, and like there was a moment through my career like that I didn't even realize that like I became impactful to these younger racers, like, and now I'm competing against Danny Sams, and it's just like really deep to think about like that, like the image that you set is like so important, and these people are like coming through the sport and like wanting to be race car drivers because of like being an inspiration to them. The season gets tough, I'm not gonna lie, and when you don't run well, we're so competitive, it builds a lot of friction at times, and Ricky and I have gone at it before at the races because we're both so committed to winning races.
Yes. Come on. Just keep doing what you're doing, but you gotta get going.
I'm trying, bud. Tightest racetracks we go to, hairpin corner tight, and I've never been able to run around the bottom at any hairpin corner tight.
Agreed with everything we just did.
Yeah.
You wanted the air, you wanted the wheel back out.
I agree because I feel if I say we need to do something different and we do it, then it's my ass on the line. It is. But that's how you put it. That's how you put it. That's why nobody talks anymore.
Cannot say.
I know what's
Mexico
going on.
American table
When
guarded
I
by number
hit the gas,
87.
the car goes out to the right.
Outside of that, from the local trail, Oklahoma, the Outlaw, emergency windows and doors, big screen.
I knew from the beginning of my season, I set a very defined goal that I wanted to win 25 races, and that's ultimately what won me this high limit championship, was winning sprint car races, and I stuck to it all year. Was I need to win races. You know, it really got intense when we got on the West Coast swing. Finishing out the Knoxville Nationals, and everybody's on cloud nine because we just ran second at Knoxville and second at the Kings Royal, and going out to California, and I was super confident, but you know, Ricky was not wanting to go to California because he knows we struggle on short tracks, and I was trying to keep the confidence up, and I went into the high limit trailer, and I seen all the high limit employees, and they bring good energy to me, so I like going in there and bullshitting with them before the races. And I told Brian Walker before Tulare that you know, I'm not really a cocky person, and I just said that we're going to be the point leader here before we leave the West Coast swing. And I hit the tractor tire in the feature at Tulare and had a 12th place run. We had to take a provisional at Placerville, and I mean, our dicks were in the dirt going into Chico, and we sucked ass in Chico. And I was so glad to get out of California because I just knew like our short track program sucked, and I was a little optimistic about Douglas County, and knew Douglas County we were gonna have to have a good run, you know. And my car felt like all night, and I finished 7th. It was one of those moments where it's like, we got to just finish this race. We got to just finish this race. And you know, Sanders and Corey Day both went to the back, and they were already back to the front, and I knew like, just don't get over your head racing with these guys. Just finish this race. You know, we're like a 7th place car. We're always a 7th place car at Douglas County, and knowing going into Skagit that we've won like 2 out of the last 4 races there, and then you know, I knew after the first night of Skagit we were in position. Won the race, and then won the second night, and won the third night, and then the 49 and the 87 and the 7BC didn't really have too good of runs, and it put us into the point lead, you know, which was unbelievable. Leaving the West Coast swing, being the point leader. I want to talk a little bit about distractions. I had 2 major projects going on this season that I wanted to make sure that didn't become a distraction to my racing. One, I was building a race shop to move my race team into and my merchandise into. I've been renting for the last 4 years, and I wanted to have my own thing. You know, and something that I've worked really hard for is having like my own building and housing my team, for them to have somewhere to live while they're here racing with me. I think that's really a real important asset as a team owner. I really had to manage building the race shop, and then this TSR project that we started working on here in August. So I really knew that I didn't want my team to feel that I was more committed to the race shop or this TSR project than I was to the race team. So it got to be difficult, but I'm very fortunate to have some amazing people around me to help navigate both projects. And you know, we got this beautiful race shop now, and we put together this amazing partnership with Tony. And you know, it's going to be really, really cool to, you know, get to race for Tony and have my own race shop where my the Rico Abreu stuff is going to be, and the merchandise is going to be, and you know, the boys have somewhere to stay now. The best moments of this season was the journey to competing for a championship, obviously winning races, but doing it with a team that was like working really hard at it. Like, I really enjoyed the process of that all. Traveling with my wife and Gus, and you, Toby, getting to do some incredible content for the fans, to dig into my personal life, my personality, getting to showcase that to you guys, and spending it with really good people. Like that's my ultimate thing, is surrounding myself by incredible people that want to be surrounded by me, and then just showing the world that like it's been really, really fun to navigate. Everything we do on social media, we don't have the intent to do these viral videos or be social famous. I just really want to allow you fans to dig into like what's going on and feel in the moment with us, especially for like the merchandise side of things, like that you guys have really absorbed like these collections now. Like I wanted to theme the collections, and now when you guys come to the races and you want to see like what we have available for merchandise, or what the collection is, like Wine Crusher or Spooky or 7.0, and like there's storylines to all of this stuff. 3-car collection, like it was really important for me to want to build stories around everything we have going on, and to showcase that to you guys. I do this to make you guys feel a part of it. I just don't want to be this person that's like take. I want to be able to give something very valuable, like valuable insight or valuable merchandise or valuable diecast cars, or even like when you guys come to the races and see Gus, like I want you to have that connection with Gus. Gus creates a unbelievable connection, like my wife and I and my team, how hard we work at everything. Like we want the connection to be like genuinely real, and I think that's really important for us to stay consistent with that. Like it's that's why we do it. Our sport doesn't work without the fans and the sponsors, and I think that I've really absorbed that and started to understand as I've gotten older how important those assets are to sprint car racing. Getting butts in the stands to watch our sport, because I love our sport. It's exciting, and continuing to make it exciting for the people watching, so they continue to come back and they fall in love with it. I don't want to have relationships with sponsors that aren't genuine, and I think that it's very important for me, or I know that it's really important for me to have that genuine connection with these people that are investing into my organization, and to be so very transparent with them. I really enjoyed kind of the process of navigating that with the sponsors and building that personal relationship with them. And I do that by reaching out or gifting or just promoting on social media, but not making it look like an ad on social media. More so like figuring out how to talk about their generosity or their genuineness, or a story. Like, for example, Jim Watson, one of my partners through ArcZone.com, he's a high-profile welding supply company that works through e-commerce, and he used to be involved in racing like a long time ago, back in the 70s and 80s, and he would travel with Mike Sweeney and Lee James, and he loved racing, and then he started his business and got engulfed with his business and got away from racing, and then him and his wife would watch races, and his wife became a big fan of mine, and that's what connected him to me, and he reached out and told me that story, and so I just try to just genuinely make this experience when he comes to the races with us. Like, he stays at my house when he comes, and I've known the guy for 2 years, but I just have become really connected with him, and I think that's really to show like an example of like how my partnerships kind of work, is just the connection. I'm very fortunate to be a national sprint car champion, but I know there's still areas in my life, personally and performance driven, and for you guys to know that like I still have to improve as a person, as a race car driver. On the performance side of things, like we have to get better on short tracks, and I'm going to make it a point next year that like I want to go test on short tracks and figure out why why I'm not performing well on short tracks. And yeah, you look at Skagit, but you got to we got to pick up the West Coast swing and have better performing results there. Like it's just those little things. But I want to be a better leader. I want to be a better leader internally in my race team, to be able talk through things and solve problems and, and work through just adversity better. Those things are going to be really important. And then I want to be able to, one thing is that like, I'm very self-conscious about like public speaking and speaking, and like, I don't know why, but I just get nervous and then I can't like read all my sentences all the way through if I have to read off. So I want to do a better job at that and just those little things of like public speaking. And yes, I feel like I have interviews. I just want to be able to be myself more, like when I'm on the hot mic and speaking in front of people. And I would really like to like start to public speak to just like leadership and like adversity and talk through things like that. But I don't feel like I'm there yet. So those are little things that like I want to work on as a person. To win a championship under Rico Abreu Racing, like now we're champions. So we have to set that championship example. And now we're going to Tony Stewart Racing and we have to go get him a championship now. What I've learned through racing for this high limit championship, like it's okay, you're not gonna be perfect. Like it's never perfect and it's never as bad as you think. I went through a burnout phase in the, there towards the end. We skipped Williams Grove National Open and I went out to California and I just wanted to spend some time with my family. The championship fight was getting really intense and I just needed to figure out how to turn the light switch off for a little bit. And so I went out to California and I just spent some time by myself and like and around my mother and father and my brother and sister, and like I needed to be around neutral people that weren't like I wasn't competing with or against, and it's just like it was like really refreshing to me, and I felt like that's like was what allowed me to win this championship when it got really, really intense at the end. And I went to the gym every day and pushed myself like extremely hard. I was waking up at 5 o'clock every morning, working out. I was going to Pit Fit and working out in the afternoons. Like I was just like mentally like grinding myself to death, like because I knew like I needed to figure out a way to work harder than everybody I was competing against, and I didn't care how. I needed to figure out a way to do it, and like I was just like going into the gym and grasping for air. I was pushing myself so hard that like I just knew like this is what it was gonna take to do it, and I kept telling myself like I was talking to the Lord, like I was telling myself like I'm gonna do everything I can to do it, and I know He was gonna be behind me, and I was praying for everybody that like for their safety and their well-being, but I knew like I needed to be pushed extremely hard because I knew that's what it was going to take. And I seen that in Brad Sweet when he beat Donnie Schatz in 2018 and at the Knoxville Nationals, and then he went on, his first few championships, it was getting really, really intense at the end of the year, and I knew like he fought really hard at that, and I knew that like I was in that position and I had to find a way to push myself outside of my comfort zone to do it, and I just did it, and I worked really hard at it, and that's why at the end I wasn't worried about it. I wasn't worried about, I knew it was in the God's hands, and I just had to go out there and perform the way my team performs and work together through it all. I want to thank you guys. This whole sport doesn't work without you fans and without the sponsors and the team, the employees, like through the series and their commitment to, being at the races and watching the races on Flow. Like none of this happens without the fans and the sponsors. And you guys are why I drive myself so hard to just to doing the best I can do. And I thank you. I thank you guys for pushing me. You guys are the reason why I wake up every day, and I push myself as hard as I can to be a champion. And I think it's going to be really important for me to show you guys why I'm a high limit racing champion. 10 years ago, I was representing Rico as a person in the sport. And now that I am a national champion in the sport, it's very important that you guys know that I'm representing you guys. I don't take any of that lightly. And I just want to say thank you for allowing me to represent a sport that you guys love.